What's going on? My name is Jason Parks of The Media Captain. Today we're going to talk about Facebook versus Google as a business, where you should put your advertising dollars. Look, as an agency owner, this is a question that we get all the time from businesses that call in. They actually think that they should be advertising on Facebook, when in reality it's better suited where they put 80% of their ad spend towards Google and 20% for retargeting on Facebook. So I'm going to go through my thought process, from doing this for 10 plus years and helping businesses allocate money properly. So the first thing that you want to think about is intent. And you want to think about your product or your service and think about how people are going to be searching for that. So when it comes to a marketing agency, for example, a lot of people are going to go to Google and type in digital marketing agency in St. Louis or in Phoenix, and there is very high intent. So that means Google is a great place for you. If people know what they want and they're going to type that into Google, extremely high intent. That's why Google has such high conversion rate, typically higher conversion rate than Facebook, because the intent is greater. We worked with a client that sold t-shirts. They sold affordable t-shirts with these clever designs. But when you thought of the product, you couldn't really think of you couldn't even think what you would type into Google to find the product. So there wasn't synergy with Google for that client. We invested their advertising spend into Facebook and Instagram. This client did over $5 million in sales all through Facebook. They just continued to scale. We tried to do Google Shopping for them, did not work. The intent was Facebook, and that's where you want to double down with. So, all right, well, let's continue. So when it comes to pay-per-click advertising, because Google has two different platforms essentially. They have pay-per-click and they have Google Shopping. So PPC are the text-based ads that are triggered by keywords. So again, going back to the digital marketing agency example or a personal injury lawyer, those are keywords that you can bid on because people would type those into Google because there is strong intent. Moving on to shopping is the image-based ads, and it's different than PPC. So there's a different strategy. There's a lot of clients where PPC works well and Google Shopping does not work well, and vice versa. So the difference between PPC and shopping is that shopping is triggered based off of a Google Shopping feed. It's based off of the information within the Google Shopping feed, so it's not keyword driven. So, that t-shirt company that I was talking about, PPC definitely wouldn't work for them. Google Shopping might have worked a little bit better. It didn't in that instance, but you cast a wider net when you do Google Shopping because it is e-commerce driven. And again, it's driven from the information on your shopping feed, within your shopping feed. So also PPC has a higher cost per click average than Google Shopping, so just something else to take into consideration. Moving over to Facebook, again, this is a great way to introduce people to your product. So if nobody's ever heard of your product, or they're not going to know what to type into Google, or if Google has an extremely high cost per click and you need to drive traffic to your site at a lower cost per click, this is where Facebook can be great. So I gave the example of the t-shirt company that did extremely well on Facebook, not so well on Google. Another thing is just that Facebook is not always about the sale instantaneously. Facebook has a great lead generation program. You can drive a ton of traffic to your website or to a blog from Facebook and then retarget. So there's a lot of options on Facebook. Again, a lower cost per click, and be thinking that just be thinking about the intent. I know I keep on bringing that up, of Facebook versus Google. Another interesting thing is that, I read an article and it said that without Facebook, Shopify would not survive. Well, think of that. It's an e-commerce product. They are trying to introduce their product to the world, and they are using Facebook to advertise. So again, when a lot of e-commerce products do very well on Facebook. So diversification is really important. For every client that we work with, we come up with an overall budget and we then select the budget between channels. So, let's just say for the personal injury lawyer, it might be 70% on Google, but they have TV commercials, and so we'll put those on Facebook and we'll serve them to the zip codes of the areas where they want to target. And so we might go 70% Google, 30% Facebook and Instagram with a heavy dose of retargeting. We always come up with a strategy and we're always diversifying. It's never 100% in one channel because we are always going to have retargeting ads in either Facebook or Google Display Network or YouTube. So the next thing is testing. Since we've worked with hundreds of businesses, it's somebody can call in and instantaneously I'm just able, in my head to be like, okay, that's a Google play, that's a Facebook play. But we love to test, so do A/B testing to see which one converts better. Again, hopefully you got something out of this. My name's Jason of the Media Captain, and if you have any questions on Facebook versus Google strategy, you can shoot us an email at info@themediacaptain.com.